Meghan cultivates people. Meghan is an opportunist. She's a user. And she's using these women, and I'm sure they're happy to be used if it's in their interests as well.
Lady Colin Campbell, what is behind this astonishing new Meghan Markle PR blitz? So we've had her on the cover of Us Weekly with this fawning, absolutely fawning piece. I'll give you one quote from it. One insider told the publication that Meghan has become very close with Neighbour and Bumble founder Whitney Wolfe Herd, while a second source explained how the TV star is now very close with IT Cosmetics founder Jamie Kermlina. Previously, Meghan has spoken about her friendships and the importance of female solidarity. And they say how much of an amazing mother she is and how she is protecting her children from all of the downsides of fame. What's this about? What is this new PR push, given she actually, for once, has nothing to sell, seemingly, apart from herself?
Well, that's the most important thing that she has to sell. In fact, that's really the only thing that she's interested in selling down. It's herself. And, she is using friendship as she has always used it. I mean, don't take my word for it. Ask Nikki Pretty. They were friends for about 31 or 32 years. And Nikki Pretty is the one who dumped Meghan, not vice versa, because she thought, but she knew that the friendship was coming to an end. And Meghan cultivates people. Meghan is an opportunist. She's a user. And she's using these women, and I'm sure they're happy to be used if it's in their interests as well. Not everybody can be your best friend. I mean, we both function in the real world, and it's always wonderful to have relationships that are based upon true respect and genuine sincerity, and where people will be loyal to each other when a problem arises. But you will know from your own experience quite recently, and I certainly know from my experiences in the past, that there are many people who are there for the good times and to exploit you when things are going well. But when they're not, all of a sudden they've run for cover.
Oh, yes.
But don't you think but it's pathetic because, on the one hand, this is more of the same. It's yet more column inches with treacle spilt everywhere. And how marvelous Meghan is. What a wonderful mother. She's a marvelous mother. She's a wonderful daughter. Ask her father. She's a wonderful daughter-in-law. Ask the king. She's a wonderful friend. Ask Nikki Pretty. Oh, to hell with that Nikki Pretty. Why don't we ask Jessica Mulroney? I mean, it's so crazy. It's stupid. It's pointless. I mean, do they think that people who read these publications can't remember what happened 3 weeks ago? On her own terms. I mean, everything she aims for is on her own terms. And I mean, you'd have thought by now she'd have actually learned that maybe she should be adopting new tools, because by the aim of everything being on her own terms, she's managed to wangle herself from one half of the most popular couple on earth to one half of the most unpopular couple on earth, all in a few years, and all with her dexterous maneuvering.
Yeah, I mean, it has been an absolute PR disaster. And one thing that did strike me in the article is that she's teaming up with Ellen DeGeneres, the US chat show host. Now, I don't know if you know much about Ellen, Lady C, but from my days covering the entertainment industry, she is widely known and regarded as being the nastiest woman in Hollywood, widely loathed by celebrities, and effectively cancelled after it emerged how terribly she treated her staff and all of the the rules that were put in place, things like you can't look her in the eye. And I thought, how perfect. They're made for each other.
They are. But while we're on the subject of Ellen DeGeneres, she did something, she used to do something with her staff, which I thought was unforgivable. And remember, I'm Jamaican, so I was brought up with staff left, right, and centre. And you never lay traps for staff unless you think that they are dishonest, in which case you can lay a trap, but otherwise you don't. I mean, she used to do things like throw something underneath a table, and if they missed it, she'd have a go at them. I mean, you don't do things like that. That's the mark of a really nasty employer. That's not the mark of a good employer. You just don't behave like that. I mean, I'll use a small example. When my housekeeper in London wanted to retire, we'd been together for 31 years. And she said she was getting old. She was just 81 or 82. And I said, oh, don't be ridiculous. You're not dead yet. I mean, don't. I mean, I love Mackie. And she said, no, she couldn't, because she couldn't bend down to clean the skirting boards. I said, well, don't clean them. I'll get someone else to do it. And she said, no. She said, I really need to retire. But I mean, I was perfectly prepared to get someone else to. That's how you're supposed to treat staff. And that's why Mackie and I still love each other and we were together for 31 years.
Well, indeed. But instead, we have Meghan overseeing the exit of 18 staff. And I wanted to play you this little video. And what I found interesting about this, Lady C, is it's from page 6, which on the whole, the New York Post's gossip column effectively is slavishly positive to Meghan on the whole. But even they are now saying that American Orchard Riviera, ridiculous name, American Orchard Riviera, is struggling, isn't releasing any product because it's impossible for Meghan to find a chief executive. Have a watch of this. So, I mean, the fact that page 6 now seems to be turning, at least when it comes to the disaster with staff and no one wanting to stay working for them, and also just the embarrassment of the fact that she made this huge song and dance about launching a brand and can't even sell any product. I mean, it's going from bad to worse, isn't it?
Yes, Dan. But Cindy Adams, who was one of the most successful female columnists of the last third of the last century and for the first quarter of this century, she does page 6 sometimes, and she did a whole thing with me on really how dreadful Meghan is. So page 6 needs content, and so it will by and large be positive, but it will also step up to the plate when it feels that it's desirable for its own credibility to do so. And I mean, I'm sure you know that basically in America, Meghan is regarded as a busted flush. And as it's so toxic that, it would be like saying, buy honey from Meghan. It's guaranteed to kill you every time you take a dose.
Well, yeah, because all of these people who are all over her, this is what I find linking back to our previous conversation, this is what I find so transparent, because all of these people who wanted to be Meghan's new best friend when they thought she was the next big thing, Oprah Winfrey, Gayle King, Savannah Guthrie, I mean, the list goes on, Kim Kardashian, they have all run a country mile.
And people like that will continue to run unless they decide in the short term, if something changes, they might resurface for a photo op, or but they're very opportunistic as well. I'm not decrying people who are using each other in a professional context. I do decry the hypocrisy behind some of them, but I don't decry the fact that if it suits them, they will speak to Meghan and get their photograph taken with Meghan because it's in their short-term interest. But I mean, the fact of the matter is most of these people don't want to have a thing to do with Meghan. You know that, and I
Well,
know
no, and
that.
right now it's the opposite. They actually don't want their photo taken with Meghan. It's like they won't go to an event because there's a risk of having their photo with her. And I think that shows you how far things have fallen. And the other article I wanted to show you, because I found this just completely bizarre, was the fact that she's now acting like some sort of TikTok influencer. But the Mail, which for some reason keeps seeming to do her bidding these days, I just don't get it, but saying Meghan Markle touts her power for raising the profile of up-and-coming brands as she invests in Castor Collective, which she wore in Colombia. So is this what we've come to?
Yes, Dan, that is what we've come to. She's been so clever. She's manipulated her way into ending up where she started out as a small-time influencer.
Yes.
And also, the clothes she wears are so inappropriate to whatever the occasion is. I mean, you simply do not wear cutout things cut out beneath the bosom and practically slashed to your main attribute in the front on an official engagement. You simply don't do it. But she does that sort of thing, and then she's promoting these people. Well, I mean, how many well established stars or people who are hoping to make their way in the world do you think are going to be buying a designer that Meghan has promoted? I mean, she doesn't have the power she used to. When she first entered the royal family. I mean, for instance, say take that outfit. I think she looks great in that outfit. And that's about bearable. It's stylish, it's chic. She doesn't have her Medusa tendrils everywhere. She's not showing the two fried eggs on the pavement, with the cutout beneath. But what's interesting is, why do you think Meghan always exposes flesh? And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, why?
Because it's the Frida Kahlo way of showing that because Frida Kahlo was known for having one eyebrow, and people in the West think that Frida Kahlo, she was being supportive of her Mexican heritage. On the contrary, native Mexicans are hairless, and therefore Frida Kahlo, by sporting that one big eyebrow, was showing she had European blood in her. So it was actually a slap in the face to her Mexican heritage. Meghan does the same thing. She bronzes up her face so that she can say, I'm a proud, confident woman of color, while she makes sure that her white scalp shows. And then her white cutouts show as well. Because remember, as Samantha had said, Meghan is fairer than Samantha. And Samantha is 100% Caucasian. But I think Meghan is a self-hating woman of color. I think if you've seen the movie Imitation of Life, you got Meghan down pat. Everything she has said, everything she has gone on about, indicates she is a self-hating woman of color. Because why was she the only student in Immaculate Heart, which had about a 30% mixed race percentage of students? Why was she the only one who, given a choice, couldn't choose the box black? Why did she have to create her own box? Because all of the other girls would have chosen black. Now, I actually don't think that she should have chosen black, in fairness to her, because she's not black. She's of color. She's brown, and she's very pale skin brown as well. So I see, in terms of precision, why she was correct to not choose black, because I think it's a lazy way of going, and I think it's also a very racist way of going about things. As I pointed out to Piers Morgan when I was on his show, when the baby Archie was being born, and Piers said, "Oh, we're going to have a black prince." I said, "Don't be ridiculous. We're not going to have a black prince." I said, "The child will be 1/8 black. So why would the 7/8 not count?" I said, even under the Nuremberg laws, if you were 1/4 Jewish, you were still Jewish. But if you were 1/8 Jewish, you weren't Jewish anymore. I said, so even under the race-baiting Nuremberg laws, if there was a cutoff point, and it is the height of racial prejudice to say that somebody is black who is predominantly white. But I think that Meghan, who passed, as we know, for white for most of her life, and
described herself as Caucasian when she was going into her early acting roles.
Yeah, yeah. And most of her roles were of women who were white. You know, so
no,
she
indeed.
She wasn't.
It's fascinating, actually, when you think about the journey that she has been on. And again, like so many of the things she does, it's very cynical. It's been very commercial. But look, I want to ask you about Prince Harry, Lady C, and this decision for him not to contribute a new chapter of new material for the paperback version of Spare. Now, this has been presented in the Daily Mail as a major victory for the royal family, Harry offering up some type of olive branch to Charles and William. But do you see it that way? First, though, what's so important about being independent is that I'll only ever tell you about products that I use and truly believe in and think can improve your lives. That's why I'm delighted to talk to you today about Verso. Look, I've got it here on the table. Absolutely beautiful products, so perfectly packaged as well. And as you may know, I've entered my 40s, and the importance of staying healthy as I age has become really critical for me. So after a stressful year, I decided to focus on prioritizing my health, which led to me taking Verso every morning, because I was looking for something that could help reverse aging, but that was backed up by solid evidence. And that's where Verso is so effective. It's called Cellbean. That's the main product. It has scientifically proven ingredients that fight the effect of aging by increasing NAD+ levels, which is the stuff that powers every cell in your body. Now, I've been taking the product for a number of months now, right at the start of my day, and it has been genuinely transformative. I have found fasting easier and have lost fat. I'm eating less too, believe it or not, because you know I love my food. But the team at Verso tell me that's due to its blood sugar regulation effects, which lead to fewer cravings. I'm sleeping better as well, which is a really positive thing. So this has taken years off my life, this product, Verso. And Verso also publishes third-party testing from each batch produced to guarantee you are getting what you paid for. And I'm very excited to say that Verso has an amazing offer today. If you head right now to buy.ver.so/outspoken, you will save 15% off your first order. All you need to do is enter the coupon code outspoken at checkout. The link is going to be in the show notes on YouTube and Rumble right now. It's already there, in fact, but I will repeat that address for you: buy.ver.so/outspoken. Use the coupon code outspoken. You won't regret it.
Not. I'm so sick of the mainstream media on and on about the wretched, bloody olive branch. I mean, every other day, some idiot comes up with the words olive branch. It couldn't be more preposterous. The fact of the matter is, because of Harry's lawsuits against the news group newspapers and the Mail, and also originally against the Mirror, he dares not update the book, because remember, his evidence was that everything, all of the files were destroyed. If he updates the book with a new chapter, it shows that he has been perjuring himself in court. So there's that reason, aside from any other reason, why it would have been an act of total folly to update the book. And also another reason why, which is, I would imagine, kicks in as well, by not adding a chapter. Had he added a chapter, he was either going to have to be nasty or was going to have to be nice. He dares not be nasty because he knows that nasty hasn't worked. And because his father's health is precarious and his brother's attitude is very steely, he knows he'd better not go down the path of treachery again. So it's not in his interest to do that. And he dare not be nice, because if he's nice, he ruins his credibility. So there's the caught between a devil and a deep blue sea. He's actually done the sensible thing, which is not updated it at all, which is, as you know, being a professional, is very unusual.
Yeah, and the publisher must have been livid.
Well, and also makes the book less liable to sell well. I mean, okay, there are a few people who will buy it, but
not many now. Not many by now. I mean, I'm really interested to see as well if he takes anything out of the book. Now, I don't for a single second think that he'll ask to remove the damaging paragraphs that very much upset William or Catherine or Charles and Camilla. But I do wonder, for example, with the potential for Donald Trump and the White House, if he might consider removing the admissions of serious illegal drug use. Or, given he's made such a big deal about his security, whether he'll consider removing the very unwise passages revealing how many members of the Taliban he killed. That will be interesting, won't it, to see?
Yes. Yes, Dan. I think it would also be fatal, because it would affect his credibility and show that he was as cynical as you and I know he is, but a lot of his admirers don't know.
So he sort of has to stand by the book, really, doesn't he? He doesn't have a choice.
If he's sensible, he'll stand by the book. Of course, he's not that sensible, so maybe he won't. But I would imagine Penguin Random House is going to want him to stand by the book as well. Because remember, this book has cost them a great deal of money. The book has never sold for its recommended retail price. The maximum it has sold for is 50% of its recommended retail price. That is a disaster in terms of publishing, because the finances are 1/3 to the writer, 1/3 to the cost of publication, and 1/3 to the publisher, which is where they get their profits. Well, if you are selling the book out at half price, just do the math. How does 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 allow you to make a profit? And that is before you even consider that to bump up the numbers via Nielsen, when many people bought one copy, they were sent two, including me. I bought one copy, I was sent two copies. And I know from many other people this happened. But of course, when the two copies are shipped, it says Nielsen's numbers are doubled. And Penguin Random House was very clever and resourceful in presenting it as a great success. But it's not been a financial success for them. It's been a disaster.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please do subscribe if you want lots more clips and interviews like that. Plus, if you want to watch our totally uncensored after show, then visit www.outspoken.live.